Okay, so we discuss about many things in the word when it comes to the last week. Like we are left with only the very last part of the practical lesson, which is called the mail merge. So before that, I'll recap the things that we have done so far. So we have done the home tab, the entire tools, right? And we talk about the insert tab as well, right? So inserting tables, pictures, headers, footers, text boxes, and all these things. And we talk about the design in tab, about these watermark, page colors, page borders, as well as the layout. And from there, you get to know like how to put the margins, how to manage the orientation, how the sizes can be changed likewise. And today we are going to talk about this particular reference tab, which will help us I'm sorry, not the referencing people, the mailing tab, which will help us to do a mail merge. Now, before I begin with the mail merge, I'll tell you what's the actual requirement that we need to do a mail merge. Now, think about a situation like this. Think about a situation that your school need to send the similar letter to different number of addresses. Like let's assume that you are going to have a parents meeting. So the school needs to inform to the parents using a letter. So the content will be very same for every parent by mentioning that there is a parents meeting on this particular date. So please be there at the school at this particular time, right? So the content is going to be same, but if it is going to address to each and every parent of your school individually, you need to change the addressing part of your letter in regard of each and every parent, right? So in that case, right, in that case, what the school can do, like if the school, let's assume the school has followed our word, just a second, people. Right, so let's assume that the school staff has followed all our lessons so far, so they get to know about the word and all these things. So in a way that we are going to, in the way that they are going to create the letter, like they will type a particular letter over here, right? So let's say I'll quickly type a small letter, right? Let me increase the font size for a bit. So I'm going to say like what? Number 43. And I'll say first lane. I'll take Ottawa, Panipidia, which is familiar for me, right? And let's address this as dear parent. Regarding a parents meeting. All right, so let's center align, underline it. All right, and I'm going to apply a style saying no spacing. It will give me more room, and I'm going to reduce my margin so you can see it. and I'm going to, yeah, make it like this. And I'll go like this. So I center line this, then under that, I'm going to type the letter. This is to inform. Oh, they are being underlined because I have activated the underline at the previous one. This is to inform that the school management has organized parents meeting on 25th of June at 8:30 a.m. at the school main hall to review your child progress please be there with this letter as your entry permit. Right, then I say thank you. And I can end the letter. Right, so should be a parent meeting. Okay, now think about a situation, people, like so far what we know is, if we assume that our school has 1,000 students. Now the one who is creating this letter will be able to address for 1,000 different addresses, because it's going to 1,000 different houses. Let's assume that there is only one child from one house, right? So what is the solution that we have for the moment? What we can do is we can copy this content and paste it to the next page, take in a new page, and we can create the second letter, right? So likewise, we can create all 1,000 letters and we can ask the printer to print this out. Or else, the one who has created this can type the first letter in this manner and print it, then change this address over here, then print the second one, likewise changing this address for 1,000 times and print all 1,000 letters, which will be a very tiring work, because there are lots of things to do again and again, and it's the same thing that they need to do it, and definitely it will be quite boring, right? And again, the problem will arise on the next parent meeting again, right? If the school management decide to have parents meeting per each and every term, so this particular letter is going to be prepared with the very same content, almost the very same content, only the date and the time will be changed, plus the addresses for again and again. Like if one particular student is there, for him or her during the year, there will be 3 letters will be generated like this with the same content. So if we assume that there is a specific clerk who is doing this work, that particular clerk needs to fulfill this requirement 3 times per year, right? So literally he is going to print 3,000 letters. And so far as we know, we have to create all 3,000 pages using a word processing software or simply from the word. Now, it will be a very tiring work, people. Like, with the help of the mail merge, it will help to that clerk to create just one particular letter, and fulfill his or her requirement of generating all 3,000 letters. It will be very relieving that the word has given that kind of a facility to do this kind of letter creation part. So that is why there is a facility called mail merge to reduce the repeating work. And with the help of the mail merge, we can change this kind of data on your letter, a small amount of data, and we can reuse those data again and again when we need that. People, are you clear with the reason why the word has introduced something called mail merge? We haven't done the mail merge yet, right? We are just talking about the situation, people. Is the situation clear with you?
Clear, sir.
Right, great. How about the others?
Clear, sir.
Okay, great. So now let's see how we are going to do the mail merge and how the mail merge is helping that clerk for not to create 3,000 odd letters. Instead of that, how he can create just one letter and create all 3,000 letters using the mail merge. Right? So to do this, first I have to go to the mail-in tab. So in the mail-in tab, you can see there is something called create in the create group. There are envelope creation, the label creation, as well as start mail merge group. You have start mail merge, select recipient. And there are many other tools or commands over here which are not enabled for the moment. So we can't use those things. If you click on these things, it won't work. Right? So it is because mail merge is kind of a process which we have to do step by step. Right? So the very first thing that we are going to do is we are going to tell to the word what kind of a mail merge that we are going to perform, because there are different kinds of mail merge, right? If you click on this command, start mail merge, you will see different kinds of merging options are there. You can create a letter using mail merge or an email message, envelopes, labels, directories. There are different kind of things. As well as there is a mail merge wizard as well, which will help you what to be done step by step. But today we are not going to use that step-by-step mail merge wizard. We really get to know how the things are going to can be done without the help of wizard. So since I'm applying my mail merge into a letter, and I'm planning that I'm inserting the mail merge facility to a letter, I'm going to select letter for the mail merge purpose. So here I'm going to click on that, click on the letters. So now it is indicated, it has a selection now. There is a gray color box around the icon, which is beside the letters word, indicating now the mail merge will be applied into a letter, right? So once I select what kind of a mail merge that I'm going to start, the next important thing, actually, this is kind of the most important thing in the mail merge. We are going to select our recipients. Now, recipients in the sense, we should describe or we should indicate to which particular people, or like to which particular crowd that we are going to deal with this particular document with. Right now, in our case, our recipients are going to be the parents of the students. So we are going to select the recipients as a list of parents. So in different case, there can be different kinds of recipients. So anyhow, we are going to select those recipients for the mail merging purpose. Now, the problem is we don't have an existing list of parents for the moment. Let's assume like that. Now, if you click on this select recipient command, you will be given 3 different options. If you look into these options, the first one says type a new list. That means, like in our situation, if the clerk who is creating this letter get to know about the mail merge for the very first time, and he is going to, if he is going to experience it for the very first time, he or she needs to create the recipient list separately or as a new one. Now it's kind of a one-time work, people. Like in the example as we talk, like if we are getting the same requirement after a term, like let's assume that the school is going to have a parents meeting per term. So like if the clerk is going to insert the recipient list at the first term, he can use the same recipient list in the second term when he is creating the letter. So he don't need to type a new list again when he's since there is a already created recipient list inside the word regarding the mail merge. So in case if new admissions has happened during the first term, then only the clerk who is working with this can add those new admissions into the existing list or to the list that he is creating today. Right? So have it clearly, people. We are typing a new list for the very first time, and we are doing it just once only according to our purpose. Right? And the second option is like use an existing list. That means if I have created a recipient list earlier, and if I saved it to some particular place, I can use that existing list as a help of or as the recipient of this particular letter. Like if those recipients are the same recipient. Now, of course, if the recipients are going to be different, you have to type a new list, definitely. But it's kind of a rare neda then api iskole ekata recipient list එකක් හැදුවොත් parents ලා ගැන, it's going to last for 13 years, right? From the grade 1 to grade 13, it's the same parent that you are going to refer, right? So that is why I told you it's kind of a one-time work when it comes to the creating recipient lists. And the last option is choose from Outlook contacts. It's the default application in the Windows, which holds all these contact details, like you are having a phone book in your mobile phone, right? The Windows can also store the contacts using the Outlook. It's kind of a application, right? So if you have already saved all your contacts in the Outlook contacts, you can use that Outlook contacts regarding this mail merge as well, right? So there are 3 ways that you can take the contacts or take the recipients into this letter. You can type a new list, you can import an existing list, or you can choose it from the Outlook contacts. So in our case, since we don't have any particular list, let's take the very first step, or like the very first option saying type a new list. Right, so I'm going to select the very first option, type a new list. So when I click on that type a new list, this kind of a window is given to me, right? If I expand this window a bit further, you can do it by getting the mouse pointer to this particular corner where it has small lines at the edge. So this will show you a lengthy table which has different kinds of columns to store data and save it as our recipient list. But the problem is these particular columns, now if you think like the first column is title, right? Second column name is first name, third column is last name, then the company name, address line 1, address line 2, it's the just the city, state, zip code, and so there will be different kinds of columns. Now in our case, how many details we want? We need the number of the house, we need address line 1 which indicates first lane, we need address line 2 which indicates Kot Tower, maximum we need address line 3 which indicates Pannipiti. Right? So we really don't need this much of columns to save our recipient details in this table. So therefore, what we are going to do is, with the help of this customize column button, we are going to edit the list or the columns that we want, and we can do it as we want as well. There is no rule that we have to use these particular names as our column names. You can use any different kinds of kind of name as the column name, but be careful when you are doing that, right? Because it can behave a little bit ad hocly, because we are going to do it in a remote manner. So according to my requirement, what are the things that I was hoping to have this in the letter? I don't need a title, so I can delete it using the delete button. I don't need a first name in my letter. I haven't mentioned anything about first name. So it's better practically it's better we have a first name, right? Yeah, I'll do the changes necessarily. So I'll keep the first name. I'll take out the last name. I don't need that. I'm taking out the company name. Address line 1, address line 2 will be there, right? And I'll put the city as my third address line, right? So if you want, you can rename this as the address line 3rd by using this particular button, right? Right, so likewise you can do it. And I don't need state, right? And I don't need zip code. I'm taking it out. Country or region. Right, and I don't want home phone. I really didn't have something like that. And work phone, no. And email address, again, I don't want. And if you think about the address that we wrote, I wrote something like number and 3 address lines are there. So for that number, we need a new line to be added. There is no any default line saying number. So to do that, we can go for the add button, and I can simply type the name. And if I press OK, number will be placed at the last, as the last line of this list. If you want to move it, you can use this move up and move down. right? So I can move it up if I want, right over here. Right, so then what I'm going to do is my all new package, like all new package of columns are okay now. So like I got only 5 columns, so I press OK. So now my table is developed. Right, so according to the things that we have created. So first name, number, address line 1, address line 2, address line 3 is there. Okay, people, are you clear up to this point? Is that clear?
Clear, sir.
Right, great. Now what I'm going to do is, now we are replicating what the clerk is doing now. So now the clerk has started the mail merge. Now he went to the select recipient and create the new recipient list. Now I have to type the details of these things. So yeah, I'll give the first name as John, number I'll take as 43, address line 1, first name. Right, so the first lane has some character missing. Address line 2, Ottawa. Right, so that will be my first record. I'll quickly go with the 2 separate things, and let's say Misha. Let's take this as Maharagam. Let's change these word as Devala Road from Maharagam. Right. Okay. So now I have created 3 records. Now how I'm going from one record to another, like if I have typed already, I can just click and go to any particular place I want. If you want a new line or new record, you may go to the very last record of the last record icon, or the last record, the very last cell. So from here, if you press tab, you can have a new one. Right? Okay, so like in this manner, we have created the particular table as we want for the mail merge. Right. People, is it clear with the database creation?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. Now what we are going to do is we are going to press OK. If you are creating this database or like the recipient list for the very first time, once you press OK, you will be asked to save that particular database using a particular appropriate letter or a particular word. So you can see like there are different kinds of data sources that I have created. So I'm going to create this as grade 10 English Star Labs. Right. So and you better save the place that the computer is showing you to save. It doesn't mean that if the if you save it in some particular in another particular place, it cannot be taken into the cannot be used inside the similar kind of a situation. If you have it over here, it will be easier for you to filter as well, because when you say save, it goes here. When you ask to take out the things or like refer the things again, you only need to visit this particular place. It will be by default opened by the Windows, right? So it goes like this, right? So anyhow, I'm going to save it like this. So once I press save, it's not going to show you anything, but you can see what has happened. Can you see these buttons are now being activated? Can you recognize that? Right. So with the help of those, we can complete the merge. Right. How we are going to complete the merge? It is going to be like this. Now, once these things have been enabled, you can see there is something called address block, greeting line, insert merge field, likewise. Yeah, people, hold on a second. Okay, sorry for that. Now we have done our editing or like adding or like creating the recipient list for the very first time. So you can remember we have done that using this particular command. Once I have created the list, or in case if I choose an existing list, then only these particular buttons will be enabled. So in case if you want to change anything in the recipient list that you have created, you can use this edit recipient list, right? You can click on that. It will open a small window which is showing you how your recipient list, or what are the contents of your recipient list. This does not mean that you can edit your data right over here. You can't do the editing in these areas. This is just a preview saying, okay, these are the things in your recipient list. If you want to change anything in your recipient list, you have to select this particular name of your data source. Then you have to press edit. Then it will open the familiar place that we have done the editing. So if you have a new record, right? So just click on here, then you can go for the things, right? Right. So after that, once you say okay, it will ask that I have done some changes into my data source. Do I need to save it or not? So if I say yes, so it will be saved, and you can see there are 4 different lines now with the one that we have added newly. So you can press OK to cancel the or to close the window. Then now you are like almost done with the mail merging, right? So what you have to do now, still nothing has happened to your document, right? So once you choose a particular document type, and once after you have done with your recipient list, you can simply type your document. Now in our case, we have typed it earlier. It doesn't matter, with the blank document, you can choose the type and select the recipient list. And then after, you can start typing your document and use the merging. Now in our case, since we have done it earlier, I'm going to insert my merging facility into this letter appropriately. Now our purpose was reducing that teasing work of typing the address again and again of our parents, right? So here, let's assume instead of the parent word, let's assume there is a particular name. There should be a particular name. Since we have insert the name in our recipient list, we are going to add the name over here. So now what I need to do is, I can choose this particular command, which is called insert merge fields. People, just excuse me a second. Right. Now what I'm going to do is, as I told you, I'm going to use this insert merge field. And there is 2 other blocks, which is called address block and greeting block, some other facilities. What we are going to deal with is this. Once I click on this, you can see that they are going to give us a particular list of the fields, of the columns of the table that we have created with this recipient list, right? So you can take it like this, as well as you can click on here and you can have a drop down as well. These particular fields are there. Why these fields are there? Because we have created these fields to store our data regarding these letters. Now what I'm going to do is, using these things, I'm going to match these fields into the places in my document accordingly. Now, after the word number over here, after the colon, I need the number to be placed over here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to delete this. So after the word and the colon, then from here I choose it needs the number, right? Can you see what has happened? Now they have taken the field name of my table, saying number, right? And likewise over here, I need my first address line. So I can select it, even though I don't like even you can do it without deleting this thing. Just select it. Then you go to the insert merge field. Then you take address line 1 from here. So it will replace address line 1, and this comma is there. It is a part of part of the address, which is not going to change by address to address, right? This number, address line 1, those are the one which is going to change per address, right? And to the place Kottawa, I'm going to merge the second address line, and for the place Panipitiya, I'm going to merge the third address line, right? So now in my document, what you can see is, you can see the word number, or like the short form of the number and the colon, and then you won't find any data. Instead of that, you can find the names of the merge fields: number, address line 1, address line 2, address line 3. And here after the dear word, we put a space and we are going to merge the first name into that particular place. The comma will be there. Right? So once I have matched my fields into the into the appropriate places, then I am done with my merging. So I can preview my result and see whether the merging has happened correctly, right? So for that, I can use the preview result command. So once I click this, you can see at once it changed its data into the number 43, first lane, Kottawa, Panipiti. So these are the things which we were storing inside the recipient list earlier. And look at this. They have said Dear John as the first name.
Daddy, I want a microphone.
Okay, Susu, I'll find you a one, but not now. People, give me a second. right? So you can see the number has been replaced with the first lane, Kottava, Pannipitiya, and John is also been here. If you go to this the recipient list, if you go to the edit recipient list, you can see this is the very first line of that recipient list. John, first lane, Kottava, 43, Pannipitiya. Right, and the second one is Misha, Pitipana, Pinghena, 542, Homagama. So if I go to the second one, see, I can change my record from here, from these arrowheads. I can go to the very first one and the very last one from these two buttons. Right, so if I change it line by line, see, this is 542, Pitipana, Pinghena, Homagama. This is Debala Road, Pamunuwa Maharagama. This is 2nd Street, Keselbata Peta, and you can see the name is also being changed. Okay, people, did you got what we have done so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we are at the very end of the merging. Now, why we were doing this thing? Because we need different kinds of addresses with the same kind of body in our letter, right? So same kind of content. Now, if we want to print this, now in our case, there are 4 recipients, so we need 4 letters. How we are going to print this? So to print it, we have to finish the merging, right? So we can click finish merge. So in finish merge, you will be given 3 different approaches. First one is edit individual documents. If you select this, you can take all 4 letters in one single document. It will create a new document and it will duplicate this letter for 4 times with 4 different addresses in according to our data source. Or else you can directly choose print document. Once you select it, the printing window will be there and it will indicate there are 4 documents to be printed. So how the printing should happen. Or you can send this as an email message as like 4 different letters, not just one. So I'm going to choose the very first one, edit individual documents. See what is going on. Once I click it, they will ask like how you need to create this new document. They're asking whether you need all your records, or like that means if there are 4 recipients, there will be 4 letters. So they're asking whether we need to create all 4 letters, or they are asking whether we need to create the current record. So the current record is this. Do they need to create the output regarding this particular record? Or you can select a range, like from the, you can say if you got 100 recipients, you can say create it for the 10th recipient to the 20th recipient. So what you have to say is like you have to type 10 over here and 20 over here. So from your database, the records which is starting from 10 then goes until 20, it goes like that, right? So in our case, let's take all, right? I have choose all and press OK. All right, something has happened. I think you didn't capture that. Now you got 2 Word documents. This is the master document that we are working with. It's just 1 page. See, just 1 page is there. It is the master document where we have create the merge. And look at this second document, which is called letters. Now here, you can find 4 different documents. Each and every document contains a different address. That's the beauty of it, right? Look at this. See, number 43, first lane kotta panipiti. This is number 542, pitipana pinghena homagal. Likewise, those different addresses will be assigned to each and every letter and will be created as a one big document. So if you got 1,000 contacts, there will be 1,000 pages. And it is created by the Word, not by us. We are not going through a very tiring work. We just do a simple merge and ask to create it. So now when you are having these things on your hand, you can simply go to the file and you can simply print it, right? So it will show me all 4 letters, and it can be printed as in the way you want, right? So that's all regarding the mail merging part, people. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. So can I think,
Clear, sir.
yeah, right, okay, Dua. So I think you can do a mail merge alone now. So there is a practical in your textbook. Let me take it over here. So in your textbook, this particular one here, yes. This particular, where is this? Yeah. So it's page number 187. This is the merging document, or like the master document that we have to create. Then it will be printed accordingly. Right now, you're not going to do this now. You're going to do this at home and send me the output, people, right? I want the master document, the merge document, right? This one, right? So then I can check whether the things are going to go on the same way, right? So you can create it and you can send me the documents, right? So remember the homework. It's in the page number 187, where you can create this particular document using mail merge, right? So all these things are there in this table, right? So if you want to create the data source, these are the values for the data source, right? So you have to first build a particular data source, then you are going to jump into this, right? So please note down, people. It's going to be your homework just for today. And yeah, with that, people, we are officially done with the word processing software. I want you to write these shortcut keys to your text boxes, people, to your textbooks, people, right? So I think we have written some particulars regarding the word processing software earlier. Then after, you can go with this. So please write these things down, people. Right, you can write the passage before the table. Right, so let me know when you are done, people. And there is control N part as well. So first list this down, then I'll scroll up normally.
Done, sir.
Okay, how about others?
Give a second, sir.
Yeah, sure. Let me know when you're done, people.
Done, sir.
Right. Anyone else who is writing? Okay, so it seems no one is still writing. All right, so since we have done with the 5th lesson, we can move to the new lesson, which is called the number systems, right? So before I move to the new lesson, any particular questions or any particular area that you need to go through again regarding the word in this lesson? Is there anything or any particular topic that I need you to go through again? Okay, great. In case if you need anything to go through again, just let me know. So I'm moving to the 3rd lesson, which is kind of a small mathematical lesson that we have here, right? Which we call the data representation methods in the computer system, right? So have the heading, people. And this is your 3rd unit. Right. So people, in this lesson, what we are going to do is we are going to learn how the data is being represented in a computer, right? I think some of you may have heard in the computer, the data is represented as ones and zeros, or in simple terms, as binaries, right? So in this lesson, we are going to learn how those binaries are being used to represent the data And is it only binary that
But
we have? And is it only binary that we can use to represent data, or any other ways that we have?
My TV.
Right. So when it comes to the data, when it comes to the data entering part, right? So I will call. When it comes to the data entering part, people hold on a second. People, I'm sorry for the disturbance, people. All right. So now if you think about the data representation in the computer, like they have given you a very simple example over here. So what happens when a particular key is pressed on in a particular keyboard, right? So if you press the letter A, the character A, it will communicate that particular character into the CPU, the central processing unit, and then central processing unit will process that and will generate a particular binary code which consists of ones and zeros, and it can be given to the RAM. Then it will only display on the screen what the particular character that we have pressed. This is kind of a very short period of time task, and it happens within a few seconds or maybe in milliseconds, right? But this is the stuff that is going on. So each and every character that we are going to represent or going to use inside the computer is always dealing with ones and zeros. So when it comes to the characters, you can see, like if you just look into the keyboard, you can see there are numbers, there are letters, there are punctuation marks, there are some special commands, right? All these things will be converted into a particular binary code, and then it will get executed. Because why it is being converted into ones and zeros, it is the way the computer understands the things, even though we are presenting English letters or Sinhala letters, whatever the symbols as we know, right? So in regarding this, since it is involved with the numbers, we have to understand about the number systems which is involved in with the computing. So for that, we have given 4 different number systems over here, right? So there are many different number systems, but when it comes to the computing, we are just going to talk about these 4 different number systems. Now, in these number systems, there is a very nice relationship in between these base values and the characters that you can see, right? So let me take only the table onto my screen, right? So as you can see, these are the names of these number systems: binary, octal, decimal, and hexadecimal, right? So decimal is the number system that we are familiar with. We use a decimal number system in our day-to-day life. So to represent any particular amount or any something which is related to a numerics, we always use the characters from 0 to 9 for the representation or for the illustration of a particular value. Now, when we consider the characteristics, which is starting from the 0 and goes until the 9, by using these 10 characters, we can create any particular number that we want, right? If you want to say like let's say 20,436. So 20,436. So some of the characters out of these characters are being used. If you think 22,336, unique characters that are being used are 2, 3, and 6, right? 2 is repeated, 3 is repeated. It doesn't matter whether it is being repeated or not. You can create different kinds of values with the help of the characters of a particular number system. And the relationship in between these characters and the base. Look at this closely. Now, in the decimal number system, base is 10. And you can see all the number systems characteristics are starting from the 0. And if you think about the decimal number system, it starts from the 0 and ends from what? 9. 9 means 1 less than 10. Base is 10. If you reduce 1 from the base, it is 9. So that is the relationship in between the base and the number system characteristics. If a base of a particular number system is there, the characteristics will be start from a 0 and continue until 1 less than the base value. People, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. So look at the other number systems. They are following the same rule. Base is 2 in binary number system. It starts from a 0, goes until 1. Base of the octal number system is 8. Again starts from a 0 and goes until 7. And when it comes to the hexadecimal, the story is a little bit different, right? Now, according to the things that we have discussed, it should start from 0, goes until when? It should be like from 0 to 15, right? According to the concept that we talk, it should goes from 0 to 15. Now, when we are writing the characters from 0 to 15, so it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3. So likewise, we will be coming to the place of 9. If we write the 10 as a character, there is a small problem because 0 is being used again, 1 is being used again. Now remember, when it comes to the characters of a number system, these characters cannot be repeated on another character. Right now, 10 is a 10 should be a different character in this character list because it starts from 0, goes until to 15. So it should have 15 different characters. But if we are going to write 10 as a character, we are violating that rule because the 0 is using again, so it will not be a unique character. 1 will be used again, then it's not going to be a unique character. So to get rid of this as a solution, what they have done is they have considered 10, or they have represented 10 from capital A, and they have represented 11 from capital B, 12 from capital C, 13 from capital D, 14 from capital E, and 15 from capital F. So that is why there are letters inside this number system. People, is that clear?
Clear, sir.
Right, great. Okay, let's write down the things regarding the number systems. I think you have given the, you have done with the main heading. So yeah, we don't need to like describe what is actually going on with the key pressing event and all these things. We'll directly come to the number systems, right? So you can have the subheading number system. Yeah, you can simply go with this particular letter, this particular sentence, and then you can draw the table.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Right, great. So if you are done, we can end the session just for today since we got only 1 minute. So by next week, get ready. We are going to do some calculations, right? So I'm going to introduce you how you can first identify a particular value belongs to a particular number system. Then after we are going to do some conversions here, right? So we have some workings to do, and today now, like from this point onwards, you have some workings to do with me. So get ready, right, with a pen and a pencil, right? Maybe a eraser will be needed, right? And you have a lot of divisions and multiplications in this lesson. So go through the division and multiplication. I know you know how to do that, right? So we'll see, right? So I'll see you on next week to brief the third lesson. And yeah, so we'll do the calculations when we meet. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a very nice day. I'll see you on next Tuesday for the very same time. Right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, sir. Thank
Bye,
you.
sir.
Have a nice day, sir.
Right,
Have a nice
people. Thank you very much. Have a nice day too.
That was our nicest. Nice
Right.
days.
Thank you very much.